The Road to a Porsche 911. Chapter 1. The Car You Never Forgot. You probably remember the first time you noticed a Porsche 911. Maybe it passed you on the highway. Maybe you saw one parked outside a restaurant. Or maybe it appeared on a screen when you were still too young to understand what it cost. You did not know about financing, depreciation, insurance, maintenance. You only knew how it made you feel. The shape looked different from everything else. The engine sounded alive. And somewhere in your mind, the car became connected to a future version of you. A version with more confidence, more freedom, more control. One day you thought, that will be mine. But the road to a Porsche 911 does not begin at a dealership. It begins years earlier. Usually with a bank account you do not want to check, a job you cannot afford to leave, and the realization that the life you want will never arrive by accident. The Porsche may be the dream, but the first milestone is much less exciting. It is getting out of survival mode. Chapter 2. The first real milestone. At the beginning, money seems to disappear before you can enjoy it. Rent, groceries, insurance, transportation, debt, repairs. Every dollar already has somewhere to go. The Porsche feels impossibly far away. Not like a goal, more like something that belongs to another type of person, someone luckier, someone richer, someone who understood the game earlier than you did. Then one day, you decide to stop waiting for your financial life to improve on its own. You look at the numbers, all of them, even the ones you have been avoiding. You pay down expensive debt. You build an emergency fund. You stop upgrading your life every time your income increases by a small amount. No one notices. There is no celebration when you finally have several months of expenses saved. Nobody sees the phone you did not replace, the expensive dinner you skipped, the car you kept one more year. But something changes inside you. An unexpected bill arrives, and it is annoying instead of terrifying. You open your banking app without feeling your stomach tighten. You are not wealthy, but you are no longer fragile. That is milestone number 1, stability. And stability may not look impressive from the outside, but without it, every luxury eventually becomes a source of stress. Chapter 3. You cannot save your way there. Once your finances are stable, you discover another uncomfortable truth. There is a limit to how much you can save. You can cancel subscriptions. You can eat at home. You can shop more carefully. But there is only so much you can remove before life starts feeling smaller. The next breakthrough will not come from cutting another $10. It will come from becoming more valuable. So you begin learning. You take on work that makes you uncomfortable. You develop skills other people avoid. You volunteer for projects with no clear solution. You make mistakes. You stay late. You change jobs when the old one stops teaching you anything. Maybe you start a side business. Maybe your first idea fails. Maybe your second one fails too. But each time, you become a little harder to replace. At first, the progress is invisible. Then people begin coming to you with problems. Your judgment becomes valuable. Your experience becomes valuable. Your time becomes valuable. And eventually, your income starts changing. The Porsche is still far away. But for the first time, it does not feel impossible. You start looking at listings. Not seriously. Just to see. That is milestone number 2. Earning power. You are no longer being paid only for showing up. You are being paid for what you can solve. Chapter 4. The trap that looks like success. This is where the story can go wrong. Because earning more feels like permission to upgrade everything. A better apartment, a newer car, designer clothes, more restaurants, more expensive vacations. None of these decisions feels irresponsible on its own. You worked hard. You deserve to enjoy the progress. But slowly, every raise becomes another payment. Your income rises. Your lifestyle rises with it. And somehow, your freedom stays exactly where it was. You look more successful, but you are still dependent on the next paycheck. This is the trap. The moment when many people start earning enough to buy a Porsche, but never build enough freedom to comfortably own one. So you make a different decision. You choose what actually matters. Maybe you spend more on travel. Maybe you improve your home. Maybe you invest in your health. Maybe you help your family. But you stop upgrading everything just because you can. A gap begins to appear between what you earn and what you spend. That gap becomes investments, savings, business equity, opportunities, and eventually, something even more valuable. The power to say no. No to a bad job. No to a terrible client. No to a decision made entirely out of fear. That is milestone number 3. You stop trying to look wealthy and begin building freedom. Chapter 5. When you can buy it, but should not. Eventually, you reach a dangerous moment. You can technically afford the payment. You run the numbers. You calculate the down payment. You imagine the car sitting in your garage. The bank would probably approve you. And suddenly, the dream feels close enough to touch. This is when patience matters most. Because being able to make a payment is not the same as being able to afford the car. The payment is only the beginning. There is insurance, maintenance, tires, registration, fuel, unexpected repairs, and the opportunity cost of everything that money could have been building elsewhere. A bank may say yes long before your life is ready. So you ask a better question. Will this car add excitement to my life, or will it quietly make everything else tighter? You keep building. Your emergency fund remains untouched. Your investments continue. Your future does not depend on the car holding its value. A large repair would be frustrating, but not destabilizing. The Porsche can enter your life without forcing everything else to leave. That is milestone number 4. Real affordability. The car fits inside your life. Your life does not have to shrink around the car. Chapter 6. Why do you really want it? Now the question is no longer whether you can buy it. The question is why. Do you want the Porsche because you love driving? Because you have admired the 911 since childhood? Because it represents a difficult chapter you survived? Or because you want other people to see you differently? That answer matters. Because if you buy the car for strangers, strangers will eventually ruin it. Someone will always have a newer one, a faster one, a turbo, a GT3, a Ferrari. There is no final victory in a competition based on comparison. The finish line moves every time someone wealthier drives past. But if the 911 means something personal, the experience becomes different. It is no longer proof that you are better than someone else. It becomes proof that a life you once imagined became possible. That is milestone number 5. You no longer need the car to prove that you are successful. You are ready to buy it because you genuinely want it. Chapter 7. The day the dream becomes real. Then the day finally comes. You walk into the dealership, and there it is, the round headlights, the sloping roof, the shape that has stayed familiar for generations. You have seen this car hundreds of times, but now there is paperwork on the desk, and the keys are waiting for you. For a moment, the room feels quiet, because you are not only thinking about the car, you are thinking about everything that came before it. The first job, the debt, the mistakes, the risks, the opportunities you almost ignored. The years when progress felt painfully slow. The moments when the person you wanted to become still felt very far away. Then the keys are placed in your hand. You sit inside. The cabin wraps around you. You place your hands on the steering wheel, and you start the engine. The sound arrives from behind you. For a few seconds, you are not thinking about cost, or depreciation, or what comes next. You are simply there. The younger version of you was right. The moment does feel special. You drive home slowly. You take the longer route. You park. You walk away. Then you turn around to look at it again. Milestone number 6. The Porsche 911 is yours. Chapter 8. The part nobody talks about. For the first few weeks, every drive feels like an event. You find excuses to leave the house. You learn the car's sounds, the steering, the weight, the way it moves through a corner. You become extremely selective about parking spaces. You wash it too often. You notice every unfamiliar noise. And you look back almost every time you walk away. Then something unexpected happens. The Porsche becomes your car. One morning, you drive it while thinking about work. Another day, you take it to buy groceries. A coffee cup stays in the holder. You stop looking back every single time. The extraordinary becomes familiar. This does not mean the car disappointed you. It means your mind adapted. Human beings can turn almost anything into normal life, even a dream. And this is the most dangerous part of success. Because as soon as the Porsche becomes normal, another dream appears. A more powerful model, a rarer car, a larger house, a better watch, another level. There's always something next. And if you are not careful, every milestone becomes the starting point for a new dissatisfaction. Chapter 9. What comes after the Porsche? So what comes after the 911? At first you may think the answer is another car. And maybe it is. Cars can be a genuine passion. There is nothing wrong with building a collection or pursuing the next model. But the next important milestone may not be something you can park in a garage. Maybe it is controlling your calendar, taking a month away without everything falling apart, spending more time with your children while they are still young, helping your parents, becoming healthier at 50 than you were at 40, building enough assets that work becomes a choice instead of an obligation, creating something that continues to exist without requiring every hour of your attention. Because eventually, success stops being about what you can add. It becomes about what you can remove. Stress, obligation, fear, dependence, the need to impress. The Porsche may have represented freedom when you were younger, but now you understand that freedom is not the car. Freedom is being able to enjoy the car without sacrificing the rest of your life. Chapter 10. The real destination. The journey was never about denying yourself the Porsche. It was about reaching it in the right order. First, stability. Then earning power. Then discipline. Then assets. Then real affordability. And finally, the decision to enjoy what you built. Years later, you start the car early one morning. The engine makes the same sound you imagined when you were younger. But now, it means something different. It no longer says, "I made it." Because you realize there is no single moment when life is permanently complete. Instead, it says something quieter. "I made this possible." And as you pull onto the road, the Porsche no longer feels like the finish line. It feels like what it was always meant to be. One beautiful milestone on the way to something greater.